if you're in cryptocurrencies, there's currently a massive risk that is busy playing out. And it seems to me that the majority of people, they've got this ostrich mentality where they think that if they're going to put their head into the sand, that this thing is going to pass them and they do not have to look at it. But mainly it's because people are emotionally involved when it comes to investment. So first of all, if you're in cryptos and you cannot afford to lose all the money that you've got in the cryptos, you should not be in cryptos. Otherwise, the emotions are going to be a roller coaster and it's going to take you out of the market. The second thing, please do not take this as any financial advice. There's a huge risk in cryptos, and the way that I'm doing it may not suit you. And also, at this stage, there's no risk for me in my portfolio. In other words, I've taken all my money that I've put in out, and therefore I do not have risk. And simply by following the wealth creator strategy, I'm not going to go into that, but if you followed me for some time, you'll know there's absolutely no risk that I've got at the moment. In other words, I've got free coins. But let's assume that I'm a newbie or I'm thinking of getting into the market. Currently, what is the risk? Number one, and how will I handle that risk? Although this is free money, it's still money that I can lose. And therefore, I'm doing this that I'm going to share with you now. I'm doing this recording on the 31st of December, 2023. Normally, I don't do stuff like this, but I think to start the new year, this may be helpful to perhaps a lot of people that wants to get into cryptos, because at the moment I see there's a lot of hype around cryptos and there was a little bit of a rally. Bitcoin grew by more than 100% over the last year and so forth. And people are saying this thing is going to go to the moon. And therefore, I assume that there's a lot of new money that's going to get into the market. But what is the risk that I'm talking about? The risk is there's a court case coming up in February, Wright versus COPA. COPA is a crypto open patent alliance. They want all the patents that Wright has done to be null and void so that they can use them freely without any implications. But also they say that Wright is not a Satoshi. And for that reason, he's a fraud. And this is what mainstream media has bought into. In August, September in 2021, I saw something, and that was something that changed my mind around. Now, I'm not going to get into it. You guys can really do your own homework, or if you want to, maybe in the comment section, you can let me know if I should do a deeper dive into this at the later stage, at least before the 5th of February, 2024. But when I saw that, I thought, I better understand what I'm busy doing. So I started investigating. And the more I started this investigation, the more I came to the realization that this guy has got something that none of the others have got. And the use cases and the scalability of Bitcoin Satoshi version is immense. I'm about 80 to 90% convinced that Wright is Satoshi. So if that court case goes his way, then not only BTC, Bitcoin, has got a problem, but every single crypto will have a serious problem. For the fact that the Terra node on BSV, they've run this month, and that is more than 1 million transactions per second. To give you an indication, Visa runs about 40 to 50,000 transactions per second. And when I first heard Wright talking about that they're going to increase the speed and the scalability, I thought it would be impossible, because he said by the end of 2023, they will be at 1 million. The previous year, it was 100,000, which they proved. Now they sit at 1 million. They only on the test net, so it's not proven on the mainnet yet. But he said that next year in 2024, they want to scale that up to at least 10 million transactions per second, and then later on to 100 million and above. In other words, there's no cap on it. There's no boundaries on what they're busy doing with the technology. And he has got a lot of patents, and this is why COPA is taking them on. And all of the exchanges are against BSV, because if he's right, there's actually no reason for any other coin to exist, if you really think about it, because everything can be done on the blockchain, on BSV, on the original protocol. Now, what do I think are the chances that Craig Wright is going to win? I'm convinced that he's Satoshi, and I'm convinced that these guys are going to do everything in their power to not let him win. But I do not think the chances are more than 10 to 20% that he's going to win. And let me tell you why. If I look at who's involved in COPA, Jack Dorsey of Square or Block or Twitter, Meta, Mark Zuckerberg, MicroStrategy, these are massive, massive role players with tons and tons of money. And if you look at the miners, they are basically owned at the moment by BlackRock and Vanguard. So these people have got almost like unlimited resources in terms of money to throw at this court case in order for them to win. Also, we're sitting with a situation where we're sitting with a judge, and a judge is a person with emotions. Now, I do not want to be that judge at the end of the day to say if this guy is Satoshi or not, because the impact of that financially will have a massive disruption, not only in terms of the finances, but in terms of the world, anywhere where there's data involved. So I do not necessarily trust the justice system, because there are people involved, and those people can be swayed emotionally to do something that is not necessarily in the best interest of everyone. And for that reason, I do think maybe a 10% chance. Now that we know that, what did I do? I'm not saying that you should do it, but I think it's something that you can consider. So, for example, I want to get into the market and I want to buy Bitcoin. But let's assume that a Bitcoin is 40,000. It can be any amount, 100,000, 40,000. The principle is going to stay exactly the same. So for $40,000, if I am prepared to put in $40,000, then I want, over a period of 5 years, because I'm an investor, I'm not a speculator, I want my money to grow to at least 100,000. In other words, get a return on my investment of about 150%, or a compounded growth over 5 years constantly of 20%. If I can't get that at least in an investment where I'm not really involved, then I'm not going to invest in that investment. It's a waste of time, because I can do a lot of better with my own money, but then I'm involved by taking responsibility, putting the time and the effort in order to gain the skills. But I first had to gain the skills in order to be sure that I'll be able to get at least this 20%, or be reasonably sure that I think that the blockchain technology like Bitcoin can offer this to you. And if I look at the track record over the last 5-10 years, definitely on average, it's more than that they would give you. Now, personally, I've got in my portfolio, and I've sold some of the coins where we had 5,000, 10,000, even 20,000% growth on a coin. And that's the reason why I follow asymmetrical structure. So asymmetrical is basically I'm hedging against different scenarios. So here's a scenario. What if Craig Wright wins this court case? Because it's COPA versus Craig Wright as well as his patents, but they attack Craig Wright as an individual in this case. So what if he's right? Then the market at the moment, as I'm doing this, is about $1.66 trillion. That money, I believe, over a period of time is going to gravitate towards one coin or one blockchain. And that is the original blockchain, according to me, BSV, which means that the growth that I suspect, if this is true, is going to be far more than 2,400% return on investment. Now, we can start doing a sum. So if I want to get at least 200,000, and the assumptions are right that I've made, which you can't work on, but this is the way that I'm figuring this out when I started. I want my money to get to a certain amount without too much inputs from my point of view. Now, how hard must my money work for me if I want 10% of that? In other words, I'm going to split my risk. I'm going to take out insurance. If I take 10% of that, which is $4,000, how hard must that $4,000 work for me in terms of return on investment to give me 100,000 if this is the case? It must work at 2,400%, or at a 90% compounded growth over a period of 5 years. Do I think that if this scenario plays out, that this is going to happen? I definitely think so. Because if you look at the blockchain technology, how BSV fits into that blockchain and how you need the BSV in order for the transactions to happen, the scalability and everything involves, this is Web3, the Internet of Things, and everything can happen at a micro transaction fee. In other words, portion of a cent. That is literally even a 10,000th of a cent. And when it's pulled, the miners are going to immediately start gravitating towards this and pushing this chain. So what if Craig Wright does not win? Then instead of 40,000, I've only got 36,000 in BTC. Now at 150% growth on that, it's going to give me $90,000 instead of 100,000. But my risk today is zero because it's still 40,000. I'm just splitting it, and that's why I call it my insurance. So that 36,000 that grows towards the 90,000 in terms of compounded growth is going to give me 18%. Now, 18% is far better than what the average, let's call it mutual fund or unit trust, will give you, I think. And I can't be sure because no one knows what's going to happen over the next 5 years. So irrespective of what happens, I'm in a far better situation. That's the reason why I've opted to do this risk mitigation. I don't know if this can help you. If you want me at a later stage, do a deep dive to give you more facts. But I think if you are serious, then at least take the responsibility to start to do the investigation yourself. So if Craig Wright is right, then it's fine. If he's not right, it's also fine. In fact, there's no risk for me personally. And of course, my students that has followed me over the period of time. So maybe in the comment section, let me know if this can help you, if it was beneficial. Please do not become emotional. Keep that in mind and keep that out of the equation if you want to become a serious investor. If you want to find out more about what I'm doing and how I'm doing, there's a link of masterclasses that I'm presenting. Maybe listen to that. I'm not owning crypto. Crypto is a small portion of the total portfolio that I'm running. I love property, I love business, and I love mindsets. That's where I focus on, because without the right mindset, you should not be in any kind of investment whatsoever. And no one focuses on the mindset and the kind of mindset that you need to have in order to be successful in any investment. I'm not saying that you should do anything. I'm not here to try to even give advice, but put in the time and the effort to figure this out for yourself, or stay out of the market. If you're not prepared to take responsibility, my friend, this market is not for you. I hope that you're going to have an incredible new year. This is the last day of December 2023. And I thought, let me do this. Maybe I can help one or two. In the comments, also tell me if you found this of any value whatsoever. And if it's not valuable, then, I still hope that you'll have an incredible 2024. Thanks for your time, and I'll see you in the next one.